Well, political prisoner, best-selling author, second biggest documentary filmmaker in world history, Dinesh D'Souza, frequent guest on this broadcast, has been sentenced to 8 months in community confinement center. That's like a locked-up apartment complex with a bunch of drug addicts and other people. That sounds worse than prison in some ways. Man, I've gone and done volunteer work at some of those places, and it's bad. Because then the criminals can come and go. $30,000 fine and therapeutic counseling, brainwashing about how evil it was that he got 4 of his friends together to give money to a Senate candidate that he'd been friends with in college. That's like you take one sip of beer and they pull you over and fine you $100,000 or lock you up in prison. And then the Democrats get caught with a blood alcohol 15 times the legal limit that'll kill most people, with 18 bottles of Jack Daniels spilt all over the vehicle, just rolling around, vomiting everywhere, and they don't get in trouble. Like Rosemary Limburg, the DA here in Travis County. It's just unbelievable how this happened. And if they did this to Michael Moore, who I don't even politically like, I would be against it and worried. I mean, they are politically looking for any petty thing with this Justice Department to go after people. And D'Souza went ahead and pled guilty and said, yeah, I guess I should have done this better. I should have formed a political PAC and got my friends to give, but it was like $30,000. Look at the IRS going after the Tea Party, all of it. And MSNBC cheerleads it and says, yeah, they're racist, shut them down. It's so creepy. Therapeutic counseling. That's like whenever they tried to put Tom DeLay in jail in Texas for a legal PAC. Took him 5 years to beat it, but he beat it. It was all fake. And I'm not even defending Tom DeLay, a mainline Republican warmonger, globalist. But he's not anti-gun. He wasn't pro-abortion, so he was seen as an enemy by these people. And so that is all about a chilling effect. Tom DeLay's conviction overturned by Texas court. But you know what? It sure kicked him out of Congress. See, they don't want you to make a libertarian film or write a book. They don't want you to have a conservative PAC to get people elected to Congress. They're going to come after you, and they're going to get a grand jury that would indict a ham sandwich to do it. They'll do whatever dirty trick they need to. They are a clear and present danger. Look at this article. Barack Obama on ISIS combat. This is not America's fight alone. They got the French and others involved, just randomly bombing a few pieces of equipment. It's fake. And then, quote, giving $500 million to the good rebels, that is Al-Qaeda. And John Boehner, the guy that's for open borders and Obamacare, he funded that last week, says that ISIS or ISIL is a direct threat to the safety and security of the United States and our allies. Republican House Speaker John Boehner said in a statement after Obama's Tuesday morning remarks on the situation, quote, I support the airstrikes launched by President, understanding this is just one step in what must be a larger effort to destroy and defeat this terrorist organization. I wish our men and women in uniform Godspeed as they carry out this fight. You mean piloting the drones? And, of course, the White House picks the targets. Did you hear that last week? We will work with you, Obama, and we will attack you when you need us so you can take your liberties. But you will never strike any of our real people. We may put some units of idiots out on the desert top and let you know where they be. But it is preferential you not even kill them. And I've watched all these videos. There'll be no one around the vehicles, no heat signatures. It look like some old Toyota truck. And they're like, yeah, we're bombing them. Fake, 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 fake. On record. That's what's crazy. We're going to give them $500 million on top of the billions because they're the good rebels. There are no good rebels. The Pentagon has said that. The Pentagon doesn't like this. General Dempsey was hopping mad in there last week when they're like, nobody, there's no Arab allies. None of our allies give them weapons, right, General? And he goes, no, our allies do give them weapons. Our weapons. We give weapons to Saudi Arabia, they give it to them. totally staged. And are we sophisticated enough to get it? I don't know. I don't know. The answer to this intimidation, the answer to this chilling effect, the answer to the NSA with a fine-tooth comb going over everything anybody who's got an American flag in their yard's doing. Literally, that's what they say the enemy. Veterans being harassed, conservatives, gun owners, pro-lifers, Christians. The answer to their conquest of our free speech is to double down and become even more aggressive and to speak out and not let the chilling effect work. Because if the chilling effect they're trying to push works, it's all over. It's that simple. And the good news is the chilling effect has not been working. Every metric shows that the Democrats have about a 25% approval rating. Congress has a 7% overall. Obama's got like a 30%. They're all just a big giant joke, and people see through it, and it's not working. Besides, we don't need the cowards that get scared of this and think climbing under a rock's going to keep them safe. The real men start standing up, and the real women start standing up when the real tyranny manifests itself. People aren't really scared. They've been lazy. They haven't been sure. Now that it's gotten so obvious, talk about a clear and present danger. Our government, Boehner, it's his real name. Why not just pronounce it? Be like if I said, my name is not Jones, it is Jonans or something. I was literally, he had a whole campaign when he first ran for Congress where they would say on TV, I ought to find the clips really funny. He goes, it's not Boner, it's Boehner. They would have these radio ads too. That's what I saw was a radio ad put to YouTube years ago of it. I mean, be proud of your German name, bro. It just means like Bonner, but it's Boner. Now, continuing here, the real elite are just people like us on average. Most of them aren't total criminals, but they're part of the criminal combine because they've got to work with it just to get along. And one of those is Peter Thiel, who helped create a lot of the revolutionary things we see out there today in online commerce, PayPal. The billionaire tech entrepreneur is on a mission to cheat death. And Democrats attack him a lot and say he's the only example of a conspiracy so they can throw it back on libertarians. But he does give money to pro-gun groups, and he does give money to libertarian groups and people like Rand Paul. He also goes to Bilderberg. But the co-founder of PayPal and likely the most successful venture capitalist in Silicon Valley is on a mission to change the world through technology and find a cure for death. And then the Telegraph describes their hour-long interview with him where he talks about transcendence and humans merging with machines. You ought to go read the article. Now, I quoted people like Thiel, Kurzweil, and others, but went deep into the documents in my seminal film, Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement, available free online. You can buy the DVD as well at InfoWarsStore.com if you want to have it hard copied. And this is just a small part of the film where we get into this. But when you understand this, you understand how the entire game plan operates and how it really works. That's why they want world government. That's why they want to shut down individual liberty, is so the elite has access to all this without you sharing it. Because if the general public ever gets all this, it'll blast all their monopolies. So they want to keep their monopolies in place while being able to have a breakaway civilization. I'm going to skip this network break. While they have a breakaway civilization that we're not even aware of that hides behind corporate/national/global security. And that's their words, not mine. Well, here's the deal. I'm not going to go join them and work with them hoping that I get entree into this system. That's bad mojo, bad karma. I'm not a Buddhist, but you know the term, or Hindu. We call it reap what you sow when we're Christians. My God-fearing antennae go bang. They don't like it when I think about joining with Sauron so that I supposedly get some power and I can live longer than my kids can. No, the answer is expose the rabbit trick, expose the whole paradigm, justice be done, may the heavens fall, and let people know the real inequity is in technology and information, and that a superclass is formed and is preparing to literally escape to an Elysium-type system what they have helped create. So I want to force them to be culpable. I want to force them to be in the crosshairs politically. I want to force them to understand the public knows the secret. The public knows the trick. The public knows the game. so they can't get away with it. So they reverse this plan of global depopulation and exterminism. Let the clean technologies come out. Let the real education systems come out that can empower humanity and stop trying to dumb humanity down so that they can continue to be the elite if they will just share the technology and the information and not try to exterminate everybody. And there are enough good members of the elite that are already guilty about what they've done and already know it's immoral and already don't trust the technocrats above them and know they're going to end up getting cheated as well, who want the same thing. So we'll only corner them if we say no quarter. If we say no quarter, we're going to come for you, you're going to be tried, you're going to go to prison, they'll fight to the end, might blow the earth up doing it. If we have a velvet revolution of understanding, and I don't want to use the word seduce because that has wicked connotations, but talk to the elite and talk to their subordinates and really have a serious discussion with them, we've got a chance to have a lot of them defect back to sanity and have a real debate about all this and try to fix it. But I got to get the public first to want to have a real debate about all this. I mean, you got to decide that fantasy football is not the only thing in the universe. You got to decide that, you know what, Alex Jones knows what he's talking about, because when I came out and put this film out, the system got really upset because it really told their whole game plan. And now other people could know their game plan. We have a whole online bibliography, whatistheendgame.com. I haven't looked at that site in years. Not even still up, whatistheendgame.com. Every second of that film has an online bibliography showing the proof, showing the news clippings, showing the documentation. And they said, Jones is crazy. He believes they want to create a world government for life extension, merge with machines and exterminate the vast majority of the population. Well, that's what the plan is. And Bill Joy wrote about it and warned people 14 years ago in his in Wired magazine. He said, I went to an elite meeting with 200 top tech owners, and the whole discussion was, do we just kill everybody now or let them play video games? And the answer was, it's immoral to let them just play video games. We're going to drop the hammer. You see the robots getting ready to replace you. You see the paramilitary police getting ready. That's in the first phase to make sure you don't try to squirm. Then they'll be dealt with later. A lot of folks say, hey, we know this is coming. You can't stop it. I'm going to try to have a good time while this all happens. Well, I'd go buy prison stock, and I'd go buy robot stock, and I would endorse Lucifer on air if I was you out there, folks, if you want to sell out and just accept all this and throw yourself at the feet of the world system. You will be destroyed, and you'll lose your soul in the process, but hey, does that really matter? If there's a free iPhone implant or something in it, maybe that's the way to go, okay? But don't cop out and be a coward and point your finger at me and say, that's the nut, that's the kook, that's the crazy guy. You bet I've yelled and screamed to get your attention. It's frustration 3-4 hours a day on air. I'm sick of it. I know it's real. Believe me, it ain't fun dealing with these people and their mind games and their dirty tricks and all the rest of it. And, and because I don't even hate their minions. They're just mindless little programmed dummies who are like children. Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do, to quote Christ. Let me tell you something. You sell out to this, you sold yourself out. And people better make a decision which side they're on now. Because notice it's getting clear. Everything's getting very clear. And that's what God always does historically before a world is judged, before a nation, before a region, before a people, before a culture, before a city, before a family, before a man, before a woman, before a child is judged. It all is manifest and shown to be clear so you don't have any denial. And God will show you again and again and again. And then finally the hammer will drop and all the begging and all the pleading and all the screaming and all the crying because you have no memory of it. The Germans have a memory. They don't like these wars. 20 million dead Germans. 20 million, same number, dead Russians. Think they like war? We only lost 400,000 people in World War II. We don't have a real memory of it. Putin talked about his speech where he said we have nuclear weapons a month ago. He said Russians have a memory. He said a racial memory of being invaded and attacked over and over again. Over and over again. Not just by Napoleon and Hitler. And see, Americans don't really have that racial memory. We've been given the false racial memory with sages like Mr. Maddow and that other guy, the Reverend Sharpton, up there with fifth grade level race baiting, divide and conquer. I mean, those people all know what they're doing. Get that straight. They're up there soullessly reading off teleprompters, trying to screw America up. I mean, can you imagine? You could put a gun to my head and say, be like Rachel Maddow, you're dead. Well, go ahead and pull the trigger. I'm not selling out. And it's not a hard decision. There's no coming back from this, ladies and gentlemen.
Introducing the first proprietary oxygen-based intestinal cleanser, OxyPowder. Backed by real FDA-approved phase 1, 2, and 3 clinical trials. People are suffering from all kinds of digestive issues these days. All the toxins from the air, the food, the water, ultimately ends up in the gut or affects the gut. My main focus was to come up with a remedy for this, something that's safe and effective that anyone can take on a regular basis to keep their intestinal lining clean. My recommendation is to clean your intestines at least 2 to 3 times a week to prevent the toxic buildup from going into your bloodstream. Take your health into your own hands and start cleansing your body today with OxyPowder. Secure your OxyPowder today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.